Antisocial. Modern single women and men choose the single life to be by themselves. In a world of 8 billion plus people, a large number of the modern men and women choose to be single. Now it's not a choice for everyone. Clearly, obviously, there are both men and women where it's not a choice. It's like they sort of have to deal with whatever they get. Could be nothing, no one. But the point is, there is an antisocial vibe amongst people nowadays, isn't there? Now, there have been studies done on it. Apparently, it's because of, it's sort of post-pandemic sort of thing. It's a post-pandemic vibe. We're all sort of collectively traumatized post-pandemic. You know, obviously because of social distancing, the constant impending thought of doom, of death, sickness, you know, the plague, it's a modern plague. And it's how society adapted during that time. A lot of people were still hooking up, obviously. So you can say it made situationships a lot more common. You know, there was no public meeting allowed. So it was a lot more internet focused. So apparently because of all of this, it's just made society on a whole a bit more antisocial. And even post-US elections, we can see what's going on, and a lot of everything's going on at the moment, isn't it? And obviously human beings are still dating or attempting to date amongst all of this, aren't they? And as we know, as we all should be aware of, the results may vary. It's modern dating. You'd be naive to not understand, yeah, something is off.
After another man wasted my time during a talking stage, I honestly don't know if I want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I give up. I'm not doing another talking stage. I am done dating. That's why I don't be telling my mom or my friends anymore about any of these little situations, because it's like I could go on a couple dates and then they could ask me about it the next week and I'll be like,
oh, you nosy family members prying into your life, investigating your life. Where's your man? Oh, where's your man?
Done dating.
I hope you're focused and on your square. I mean, it's an interesting thing for women when other women do it to them, isn't it? They pressure them, nag them, almost. Interesting. Where's your man? Hey, where's your man? What's going on there? Something wrong with you?
like, who? Oh yeah, we stopped talking already. Like, no, that was a doozy. A doozy. It's really not easy out here because you will go on a date with a guy and maybe it'll go great. Maybe the second date will go great. But then by the third date, he'll either say something or stop trying to take you out, give you sketchy vibes. I am good on all that.
Let's be honest. In modern times, modern dating, yeah, some expect certain things by the third date, don't they? And I'm not saying they should get it. Oh, you should definitely get some draws by the third date. But I'm just saying, you know, some of those men you're talking to, women, they may expect something by the third date. You know, I'm just saying. So, yeah, interesting.
A doozy.
Thank you very much. Next. I literally have a picture of exactly what I want, the exact kind of man I want. It has nothing to do with what he looks like.
Interesting, because I mean, a lot of men say that's a key thing nowadays in dating, how they look. Apparently a lot of women are very shallow. Interesting.
I could literally transfer, like Build-A-Bear, the little qualities that I want in a man and put it in literally anyone, and I would probably fall in love with him. Why we just have to keep trying. I mean, literally by like the 500th guy, and I will be waiting until that. Otherwise, I will be alone, happily alone.
A doozy.
Now here we have a young woman waffling in her car, complaining about her 500th failed attempt in meeting someone, and yeah, whatever, we get the point. But I mean, this is a common thing for a lot of people, isn't it? Both men and women. Obviously differences. But the point of getting burnt out so much, you just choose to just not want to do it again. Want to keep doing it. And the thing is, it's not happening with any one person. It's happening with so many people. The constant meeting, then ghosting, gaslighting, lying to, even hooking up with, having some weird situation, and then just whatever after that.
A doozy.
So in a weird way, I do believe there are a lot of people who benefit off the dating pool being weird and as mad as it is, where they would say, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, everything's normal. It's just these people that have an issue with it. When it's like, is it really they have an issue with it? Or you sort of effed if you actually care about yourself and you're not willing to settle nowadays. If you have standards nowadays, you sort of effed, aren't you? Yeah? Because there's still a weird narrative where people act as if majority of people out here are not settling. When the truth is, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Everyone's standards are not the same. It's just it would hurt a lot of people to admit that they are actually just settling. This is just a settle for me. It's probably the best I could possibly get.
A doozy.
Interesting.
Am I the only person who really struggles with casual dating? Like, I have tried it because everyone is telling me in your 20s, it's just nice to meet a ton of different people. And I went on a date last night. The guy was fine, he was nice and stuff, but like I don't really think I would want to see him again. And now I'm just like, what was the point of having this conversation for a few weeks and hang out? And I just think there could be a better use of my time.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Meeting people. I mean, it's very easy to meet people nowadays, isn't it? I mean, that's easy. It's not difficult to do that. Meeting people are no more than an email, a message, a DM away. Doesn't matter if they're on another side of the planet, another part of the world. It doesn't matter.
I have tried it.
So it's good you can have access to a lot of people. So a lot of people believe they have options nowadays. It's like, it's not really options. In a weird way, it's sort of like people have more access to people and they're given the ability to waste each other's time on a big scale, on a more grand scale. Sort of like it's trendy to waste someone's time nowadays, isn't it?
I just think there could be a better use of my time. But I still want to meet people. It's just like I want to meet someone I actually have a connection with, that we can bond and talk, and it's more than just like a one night thing. But anyways, casual dating is not for me. I just like don't think I can do it, and I don't think I'm going to do it anymore.
I have tried it.
I mean, but that's an interesting point, and something I'm seeing a lot more and more nowadays. Is it about the bonding and everything? Is it about all of that? Is it about a real connection? Does any of that really matter? Should any of it matter? Should the want for love as well with the person matter? Is what I'm saying. Because again, a lot of people are just settling. A lot of people are together for the sake of being together. A lot of people have this, you could say, thought, illusion, delusion of love, you know, where for some people they have experienced something like that, and a lot of people have never and will never experience it. So they question, is it even real? Should you be out here searching for this, you know, this person that you can really bond with and develop this thing called love? Really?
I have tried it.
Compared to just being with someone, just being around someone, oh yeah, you're together. You feel something for them, but it's nothing deep. It's nothing deep. This person's interchangeable. I mean, you know, you're probably attracted to them. Obviously, you want to sleep with them and you can tolerate their company. You enjoy talking to them, but that's probably just all it is. For a lot of people, an empty connection works. And especially in such a modern day and time, a lot of people are antisocial enough where why would they have a need for any emotion? Why would there be a need for emotion? Why would you need to care for this person? You're with them, aren't you? That's it. That's all that matters. But my question is, how many people are single because that's what they're seeking? In the back of their mind even, or in the front, they're seeking this thing from other human beings who barely even represent it, give it, offer it. So on one hand, I'm saying amongst my waffle, how many people out there are seeking something that most human beings could never give them? Yeah? And maybe that's why they'll never find it, because it doesn't actually exist in most other human beings.
It's not for me. I just like don't think I can do it, and I don't think I'm going to do it anymore.
I have tried it.
So I wanted to talk about this article for quite some time. I did a virtual discussion last week on it where we just scratched the surface, but I want to discuss it here so we can keep it going. This is an article from The Atlantic called The Antisocial Century by Derek Thompson. So the article opens in a pretty drastic way. The author goes to a Mexican restaurant in his neighborhood. The place is empty, but the bar is full. Not of people, but of to-go bags. Because everyone is choosing to get their food and leave instead of sitting in the restaurant. And this gets into the crux of his argument and thesis here, which is that we are choosing to be alone. We are choosing solitude. Like, for example, solo dining has increased by 29% in just the past 2 years. The number one reason is the need for more, quote, me time. Similarly, the typical American adult buys about 3 movie tickets a year and watches almost 19 hours of TV on a weekly basis, meaning they are choosing to do stuff alone instead of, as they say, a ritual of togetherness by being in the theater. So, okay, we've heard this a lot, right? There's a loneliness epidemic, blah, blah, blah. What I want to specifically talk about here is this idea of self-imposed solitude. He writes, self-imposed solitude might just be the most important social fact of the 21st century in America. He is making the case, as I mentioned, that we are imposing this on ourselves.
Interesting. Yeah, to a degree, yes and no. A lot of it is unwanted. Come on, there are a lot of people out there who are single and lonely and it's unwanted. So we have to, make sure we make that point as well. But a lot of it is self-imposed. On one hand, you can say that a lot of people are just so selfish, vain and narcissistic nowadays, where they think that they're so great that only their company matters. That I'm so amazing. I'm just going to be around myself because only I understand my own greatness. Bit of ego showing. Or it's the actual fact that a lot of people in society they're weird, odd individuals. A lot of people do not mean you the best. There is a crabs in a barrel situation sort of mentality in society, in a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to see you do good or want to see you do better than them. And this is in many things, it's in everything. It's including in dating as well. Come on, especially in dating, especially in relationships. And to think, with the illusion of options so many people assume they have nowadays, I mean, why would anyone take anyone so seriously? Another person's just a swipe away. Their message a DM away. Another person, a new human being, a new interaction, talking stage, dating, hookups, whatever. They're all just one message away, one simple contact away. So it's like for the abundance of technology we have, the abundance of social media apps, interesting, dating apps and everything, in some weird way, it's like we've never been more antisocial. Like in a lot of places, like a lot of people don't even hold eye contact with each other, say hello, especially in big cities. It could be dangerous just to say hello to anyone. Everyone's stressed, everyone's working a million hours a week just to survive. And again, how would that impact things like dating as well? Relationships. Seeing how miserable a lot of people look in public, would you even want to approach them? Yeah. Would you even want to be approached? A lot of people just look miserable in public. And they might not be. They could just be tired. They could be overworked. Some could just be suffering with anxiety. Could be overstimulated. Could be a number of things. However, what is obvious nowadays is there's a heavy antisocial vibe in modern society. And it affects modern dating heavily. But it's the want to be wanted and the desires, obviously, and lust and hope as well, hope that just keeps bringing people together. It may not work and it's another failed talking stage or whatever, but it's like an endless cycle of people. There's no emotion involved. It's not needed, is it? It's outdated, isn't it?
Which I think is kind of a reductive argument, but there's a lot of good stuff in here, and I really want to know what people think. But so he says that we often correlate being alone with loneliness, but in fact, the rates in America of loneliness are declining on the whole. Although young people are lonelier than they once were, there's little evidence that loneliness is rising more broadly. A Gallup survey from 2023 found that the share of Americans who said they experienced loneliness, quote, a lot of the day yesterday, declined by roughly 1/3 from 2021 to 2023, even as their alone time rose slightly. In this day-to-day, hour-to-hour, we are choosing this way of life. That is interesting to me. So a really important macro conversation is obviously that, and we talk about this a lot on TikTok, this idea of the loss of third spaces, of cultural and social institutions that used to be community-centered, and they're just gone now. Teens get kicked out of malls for just being alone there? That's wild. And this is fascinating. In a healthy world, people who spend lots of time alone would feel that ancient biological cue. I'm alone and sad, I should make some plans. But today, what we feel is, I'm alone, anxious, and exhausted. Thank God my plans were canceled. And to me, that is the interesting part, because that expresses some larger thing that is happening.
Exactly my point. It's sort of a larger vibe in society. It's not even just a man-woman thing. It's both, An interesting point I want to use to add here. There's an asteroid that's supposed to hit in 2032. And the amount of people who are hoping for this damn thing to hit, it's hilarious. It's like on one hand, it's a joke, but on another hand, it's like, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, is it? A lot of people really want this thing to hit. Like, yeah, F it, the Earth's going crazy. Let's just end it all. Even a lot of points people make nowadays in terms of like a possible asteroid hitting a third world war or something. Even people saying like, look, if something's going to happen, I want to be at the center of the impact, basically. Like, in other words, I want to go out straight away. Yeah, I don't want to live through the aftermath. I don't want to try to survive and forage for food. No. I just want to go out straight away. Wow. And everything I've just said, I mean, that's not even uncommon for a lot of people to say that. I mean, comment. Comment. Some of you probably agree with everything I've just said, like, yeah, F it. Yeah, go on, big asteroid, big bomb. Yeah, whatever way. I mean, how many people would want to survive after an apocalypse? There's no internet. There's no internet and no food. Yeah, so you got to forage for everything, your food and your entertainment. Really? So my point is with that example is there is a heavy sort of vibe a lot of people have nowadays with the solitude and just looking at life in a sort of different way. It's like, is this all I have to do as a human being? Just live and work and sleep and repeat again every day for the rest of my life? Good luck retiring. Good luck retiring nowadays, unless you become super, super rich. Okay. But all of what I've just said, think of the effect that would have on how people see each other nowadays in terms of dating. There are people wishing for a damn asteroid to hit the Earth. There are people choosing to eat alone, dine alone. Like, waste my time talking to someone and eating with someone, I'm going to eat alone. Some people don't even want to go out anymore, they just order in. Again, it's a sort of weird vibe in society. The sort of not wanting to be here sort of vibe a lot of people have, but just going through the motions because we're here sort of vibe. That's very antisocial, isn't it? But in the world we live in, you sort of understand why, don't you?
But today, what we feel is I'm alone, anxious, and exhausted. Thank God my plans were canceled. And to me, that is the interesting part, because that expresses some larger thing that is happening, which is around what? Our fatigue, our existentialism, our dystopian sort of like, what's the point of it all? Like, I think this is more of economic malaise or like feelings that work is ruining our lives. Like, I don't know. It feels so much bigger than just our individualistic decisions, which is what kind of annoys me about this piece. But I really, really like this part, which is around this idea of neededness. The way we make ourselves essential to our family and community. Quote, I think at some level, we all need to feel like we're a jigsaw piece that's going to fit into a jigsaw somehow. Like having people who rely on us. And I think that this is such a great solution, or something to really work towards, is how can we feel like people depend on us, that we are being held accountable to show up, to support people. And then another one here, they mention these 3 rings of people and how that the middle ring is actually the one that is the weakest for us. That phones and technology have made the inner ring, the family ring, our closest ties, really, really close, closer than they've ever been. And then the outer ring, similarly, these are people that we have shared affinity or identities with. That's going to be the largest group. But the middle group, that village, the familiar but not intimate, these are the people that we are the least close to these days. And those might be our neighbors, our community members, the baristas, people that we see regularly or used to see regularly that we aren't BFFs with.
Okay, a point I want to add here is, yeah, everyone's view of themselves in the world, in a modern world. Like, a lot of women out-earn a lot of men nowadays. So even if a lot of men don't want to admit it, it does make a lot of men feel insecure as to how much a lot of women are earning. Because, like, what can he provide for her that she can't provide for herself? He's going to have to make substantially more than her for her to even see him as a viable even option, and barely even give him respect, because she doesn't need him for anything. So it's like, in a weird way, how is everyone seeing themselves? If a lot of women see that they don't need a man, and a lot of men feel as if women act as if they don't need one, but yet everyone is on the same hamster treadmill train, spinny wheel sort of thing to survive, to live. So it would make you question, what is the point of another human being? Would they even care or respect you? In modern day and time, is it even necessary? Is it needed? Care, love, and respect, please. We have to get together to pay these bills. We don't need love, care, and respect. No. We're going to create a business of me and you, and we've got to pay these bills, sort of thing. So the point I want to make is the anti-socialism, even in couples. Yeah, people are together, but they're just around each other. Even in their alone time, they're not even social with each other. It's just a sort of sharing the same space and bills, and that's it. And for a lot of people, that sounds like torture in itself. That sounds like a self-imposed prison.
That we aren't BFFs with, but how important that middle ring is to social cohesion, they write, and ultimately to democracy. Having to be in a school, a community, all in the same league or at the same school or whatever, it forces you to sit with things that you might not 100% agree with and you might be uncomfortable with. And I don't know, this just gives me so much food for thought, and I'm really curious what others think about this.
No one is putting forth effort, including me. Men, women, everyone. We're tired. I officially have completed 1 week of not having any interest in dating. Deleted all of the type of communications that I would have had with any men. Like if I was talking to them, they've been blocked. When I do check my phone now, it's just stuff for work. And I've actually done pretty good with work lately because I'm focused more on work than on the monotony that is dating these days.
You know, an interesting point behind all of this, behind all the discourse, behind all the battling and the wars men and women are having on the internet, the supposed gender wars and whatever, it's the fact that a lot of these corporations will not benefit off a falling birth rate.
We're tired.
It's like whatever individual problems men and women are having, it's like, okay, that's interesting and that's cute. However, what do you think these corporations are thinking? Because on one hand, they're thinking, okay, they're making a lot of content on this stuff, but it's like, okay, if they really don't get together and make more babies, the future's going to be effed, isn't it? We do need staff for the future. Okay, you know, enough talking. You guys got to get out there and get to fucking. You know, we need some future workers for the cog. Or some would say, on one hand, do they? Do they? I mean, if they replace a lot of us with machines, does it matter? Does it benefit some corporations to sort of let human beings consume themselves? Let men and women consume each other, and not in the fun way.
We're tired.
I can fully understand this. Like, honestly, I can. It's not even so much that you feel like you're just done with dating and don't want to date. It's just that you feel like your standards have gotten to a point where there's just not somebody out there for you. Where you're just looking for something that almost seemingly doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And I'm not just talking about physical features. I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle. Like the entire thing, the mentality, personality, motivation, the drive. Like, it seems like nobody has anything to offer anymore.
That's a good point. But on one hand, is it because everyone's so burnt out with the modern day-to-day society that no one even has anything to give? You know, does anyone even have anything to give anymore?
We're tired.
Do they? Is everyone just really a shell? They're just giving fragments and pieces of their shell to each other. Interesting.
Well, it could include me. Like, it very well could just be me as well. Like, it's amazing. Like, even when I do meet somebody and I go out with them and I could have a great time and, you know, whatever it may be, the next day or the day after, it's like I almost have to talk myself into going out with them again. And it's not because they did anything wrong. It's just that I've been on my own for almost 4 years now, going on 4 years. And it's not that it's been all bad. Like, it was bad in the beginning. But the problem is it's gotten good.
And the sad reality nowadays is, if you've got everything together in your life and it's running decently enough, another human being cannot compete with that peace. It's interesting, even if you want it, the level of peace you can create for yourself nowadays is amazing, to the point where you can't picture another human being coming in and taking away that peace. So it's a sort of good and bad thing. A lot of people have become just too comfortable in being single nowadays that they question, why would I want to change it? Why would I want to change it? Yeah, they're self-imposed. They're self-imposed. Because even if it's not a problem, there are so many human beings out there. Even if it's not a problem for you to go and get another human being, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Do you need it so much to risk everything you have right now? Interestingly enough, they're saying the grass is never greener. That's usually said for another person, isn't it? You're going to leave one person for another person and they say, oh, the grass is never greener, is it? But do they say that about the life you may have already as a single person? The grass is never greener with another human being?
It's gotten so good that I don't want to interrupt it. Honestly, I don't even really know how to explain it. Like, it's just peaceful. That's it.
I'm so fucking tired of dating, which is fun, and generally I enjoy it. But I am tired of my weeknights being spent getting dressed up. I just want someone to come over and lay on the couch so I can feel someone's body heat. That isn't this guy.
It sounds like you want to hook up, not a man. I mean, it's the same thing anyway, isn't it? But seriously, do you know a sad part of modern dating is you can't trust anyone nowadays, can you? I mean, you can't trust anyone. I mean, it'd be nice to invite someone over, but even as a man, it's very risky and dangerous to just invite someone over to your place. A lot of men still do, obviously, a lot of men still do. But the amount of men that have been set up just because of that. Oh, some chick invites you somewhere, you go there, 4 dudes come out of nowhere, they kidnap you and rob you. Okay, you invite her over, she knocks the door, you open it, 4 dudes come in and rob you. It's like, I'm just making a point. Who can you even trust nowadays? Now, I'm making that from a man's point of view, obviously, as a man, you know? But even this single woman here in her place by herself, nothing but cats, manless, tired of going out on dates trying to meet a dude that she can actually just lay down with and feel some body heat. So it's just her and her cat again for another evening. Again, and tomorrow again will be again, and on and on. It's like, how are people supposed to meet anyone when a lot of people don't even trust each other nowadays? It's like, does that person even want you? Or they just want something from you, and it's not anything good. It's not anything good, they just want to take. Yeah.
He's sick of me too. He's sick of it. They want me home. They want me on the couch. They want a new dad. They want a father. This
Sounds like you do the way you're talking as well, but seriously.
is a fucking home without a male figure. They're fucking sick of it.
ChatGPT, tell me how women in the world today have been scammed.
Ah, here we go. It's taking a
Women
while.
have been scammed in every possible way. By society, by culture, by systems, by the economy,
Lies.
by relationships, by beauty
Lies.
standards, by the expectations placed on them since birth. The scam is multi-layered, deep-rooted, and insidious. The biggest scam, convincing women that their worth is something they have to earn through being desirable, through being accommodating, through being productive, through being self-sacrificing. Women are told to be everything to everyone but themselves.
Wow. Interesting. It doesn't sound biased, does it? AI doesn't sound biased, does it? It's not like she could just, program it to say what she wanted it to say, could she? But here's my point again. This is an example again of how women are using AI on a different level to men. A lot of men would do this, obviously. I'm not saying men wouldn't never do this, but compared to women, a lot more women are doing it like this. They are actually having sort of deep, sort of almost therapeutic level conversations with it. And obviously, as we've seen, some are having full-blown relationships with them. But one of the most powerful things in the world is to be able to tell women everything they want to hear. Even a machine could do it. Now, I'm not saying, everything AI is saying is wrong, but come on. For a machine, it's got a lot of butter in its voice. It's buttering these women up a bit too much.
The scam is making women believe that they have to choose between love and independence, between beauty and intelligence, between career and family, between softness and strength, when in reality, they are meant to be everything all at once, as they naturally are. The scam is in the way beauty is a billion-dollar industry designed to keep women chasing an unattainable standard, all while telling them they should also love themselves, but only after buying the right products.
Okay. Look, on one hand, yeah, okay. Yeah, we can say that. But on another hand, women like to make themselves look good, though. Yeah, we get it. The beauty industries, they're scamming women. Yeah, makeup and everything. A lot of men complain about women overusing makeup. But it's like women love to do that anyway. Women love to dress up and look nice and go out, don't they? Or sometimes stay in because they're not going anywhere. But you get the point. So, I mean, how much of a scam is it? I mean, in a way, they're doing like the AI is doing right now, playing into women's emotions, their wants and desires, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just saying.
The scam is in relationships, where women are expected to nurture, to forgive, to tolerate, to endure, while men are raised to be entitled to that love without reciprocity. The scam is in work, where women are told to lean in, to work twice as hard, to prove themselves in a system that was never designed for them, only to be called too emotional or too ambitious. The scam is in spirituality, where women's inherent power has been stripped, repackaged, and resold to them as something they need permission to access. The scam is that women run the world in silent, invisible ways, through emotional labor, through intuition, through creative power, yet they are told they are less than in every visible way.
Wow. Behind every strong man, there's a strong woman, whatever the saying is. Wow. The silent rulers of society. That's interesting, isn't it? And I'm not even saying that it's not even a thing. I'm not saying that women haven't always been there, because of course they have been. It's ridiculous not to say that. But again, there should be balance in this amount of butter, because there had to be safety and protection for these women to even be the silent laborers of history, I mean, who were the silently laboring, Come on, we get the point, but even AI should be balanced. You can't just see the efforts of a woman and completely neglect the efforts of man. It doesn't even make sense. Well, then again, it is a machine, isn't it?
Labor, through intuition, through creative power, yet they are told they are less than in every visible way. And the most dangerous scam, making women think that they are the problem, that they are too much or not enough, when in reality, the world was never built to handle their full power. Women were never the problem. The scam was making them think they were. Now, the real question is, what do women do now that they see the scam for what it is?
It's weird how a lot of human beings have just sort of developed a disgust in each other. But is it senseless? Or does it actually make sense? The world is yours. Have a nice day.
A doozy.
I have tried it.